And that's the great thing really from an educator standpoint. Obviously we teach money in the school system, it's part of our math curriculum, but for this program to really add that next element, as Lois was saying, to actually get hands-on with the students and have them writing checks and practice savings accounts. I mean, I had so many of my students this year that went through the program again, and this is the 7th year I've been working with Lois at Bank Atlantic at Lakeside Elementary with the program. But they actually get to write checks. They actually get to work on savings accounts and how to save money. A lot of them sometimes didn't even really know you earned interest. Now they know you earn interest. Boy, they want to save their money all the time because they know they can get a bonus from the bank. Right. So the great thing is it's not only hands-on, but it really is a nice addition to our curriculum, which we really don't have now. And as Lois was saying, with the focus on standardized tests and meeting the standards, this is such a great refreshing change to the curriculum and to offer this to the students. And I've really seen as a teacher a huge, huge benefit to the program into really getting them to understand the basics and how to apply those basic skills to everyday life. As Molly just said, she has a savings account herself.
Well, I really believe that you learn so much more when you're doing practical applications. You can learn the same thing, you can learn a math problem, subtraction, but if you actually talk about, you had $10 and then you bought a toy for $2, how many do you have left? Well, they're going to remember that a little bit better than if you just say, what's, 10 minus 2?
Life.
It's real things.
Another thing is when we talk to them, because as kids, it's important that they don't save their money in piggy banks or, temporarily, but we encourage them that the purpose of saving their money is for future use, is for later on. And what happens with a lot of the students that I talk to is, they hear the ice cream man's coming, or they want to go they got a video game, so they need another new game. So, and what I tell them, it just takes them that much longer to get the things that you really are saving for. When you put your mind to it, you're saving for a specific item or clothes or even the sneakers today. The kids want these fancy sneakers. So they're saving for those things, but as they start to purchase the things that maybe aren't so important, then it takes them longer to get it. So we often talk about bartering with the kids. Bartering is a big thing with this program too, as far as even today, you don't necessarily have to buy a brand new video game. You have plenty of friends that have video games. Swap them out, because after a little while you don't want to play with them anymore anyway. So it's not only about saving and budgeting, but it's also the common sense to say, maybe you can just get together with a group, start a video club, and it's things like that they hear, that it sparks something that says, maybe that's kind of cool, maybe I will do that. Or even little things like we talk to them, even at their age, they can earn money. They could do chores. We teach them, we talk about, even in their local communities, I'm sure their neighbors, they go away, they want somebody to dog sit. There's lots of different things that these kids could do to earn money, even at their age. I often think back, and I think there was this class that we talked about the little boy who said he does chores around the house, but he doesn't get paid. So you remember? And I said to him, really? I said, why don't you stand up? And before I knew it, he had these great sneakers on, and I said, by the way, where did you get all this stuff? He's like, my mom. And I said, well, there you go. Because just think about it, if you had to purchase all these things yourself, you couldn't do it. So in one way, the bartering system, we teach them about that as well. So it goes a lot further than, and the book, they take their books home, so they have homework. They do have homework.
At it, I'm like, you know how to write a check?
Activities, filling out a deposit ticket, writing a check. We have some Bank Atlantic lingo with, so that they learn the language when they hear it. But again, it goes a lot further than just the book.
What do you do when the students said you talked about coming into the classroom and asking them about their experiences, and you have that child that says our lights were turned off? How do you address that with the group? What do you do?
Well, a lot of times I hear that because when we talk about checking accounts, we teach them that a checking account is a way to pay for services. So it's more convenient, and convenience is a big thing too. We have technology today makes everything convenient. You can do your banking online, you could use your phone. So when a child or a student says that to me, I just comment in the sense, I tell them, mom and dad might have been too busy to pay their bill, and they just forgot, because you have to be sensitive. You're going into a lot of different schools in different areas. I would never want to make a child feel like it's their fault, or they're in a situation that they really was not their fault. So it's either that, maybe mom was busy and forgot to send the check, or, but you can't hit them too hard with too much information either.
And what about identity theft? We talked a little bit, we mentioned that that's a problem. Is that something that this project deals with?
Well, you have to figure about 10 million people become victims of identity theft every single year. Okay. And the two segments that are the most popular are the elderly and the younger college students or children, because they can access these records and run with it. And knowing the components of a check, knowing the information that's sensitive on your financial, in the case of a third grader, your name and address, your account number, routing numbers. If you have a savings account, passbook, that's something you want to keep secret. Understanding the basics of identity and what's important in identity is the best way to detect and deter, okay? In particular, deter. And so it helps to make sure that these children, later on as they're going through high school and college and later on, that they're immunized to some degree against identity theft. Because if you figure phishing, mail fraud, these are common. Dumpster diving, these are the main ways that they go in to go and get your identity. If you know what's important, what's sensitive, and how to protect it, as she does, then you have some protection and you can go through life having some feeling of security that you've done the best that you can on your own level.
Do you know about looking at your bank statement when it comes to make sure that there's nothing there that shouldn't be there?
Oh yes, we've had. But something what you were saying about identity theft. When she's on the computer, we have a block on everything. Like her teacher has a website. That's pretty much the only website she can access without us. But I tell her, I go, people might pretend they're your friend and ask you for even just your full name or your address or your phone number, and they make it sound like it's as innocent as it can be. But I said these people don't have good intentions.
That's right.
And,
Absolutely.
you don't want to scare a little girl like her, but you have to be realistic and you have to prepare them.
Right.
But the program really does cover the components, as Lois was saying about the account number, and also we talked to them about signatures, because in third grade they're just learning how to write cursive. So a lot of them really don't even really understand what a signature is. So we model it for them, and then they obviously get to practice writing their signature when they fill out their checks, which is again a great introductory step because of the fact that that signature is so important when it comes to payment in our society today. So I think that again is a component that really teaches them at this age, at third grade, when really they're 8 or 9 years old, that's one way to really protect your identity is through your signature and watching your signature and account numbers and watching your account information.
And shredders.
And shredders.
ATM cards too.
Yeah.
The importance of keeping your PIN number safe, and nobody should know it but you. And we go through that a lot. We have students that will just blurt out their parents, no, that's okay, But they have to know that that's important, because once somebody could get a hold of your ATM card and your PIN number, they have access to your money. And they work very hard for their chores and their allowances, so they have to know that that's important.
There is one more thing that I could say from a personal observation, personal experience, because I don't teach Kid Power, but I get to sit in the back of the classroom once in a while, or in back of the sessions. There's leverage to this program. I have never sat in a session where a teacher or a parent or someone in the back of the classroom didn't say, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. It covers basics that adults don't normally think of or know. The second part of the leverage is this. She's going home and saying, Mom, look what I learned. And all of a sudden it becomes a kitchen table topic. And invariably, I know one of these adults is going, I didn't know that. And so there is leverage. It's targeted really at the source where it needs to be targeted, our children. But our children are taking it and leveraging it out and amplifying it and turning financial illiteracy into a kitchen table topic where parents can go and say, I didn't know that about my signature or the checking account number. I didn't know about that with identity theft. I didn't know that I could do this with a checking account or savings account. And then we're reaching up. We're reaching up to college students. We're reaching up to adults and even some of the businesses out there. The best tool to fight financial literacy is education. And The children are the Paul Reveres.
Absolutely. We completely agree, and we've been co-sponsoring some publications with Bank Atlantic, with Consumer Credit Counseling, about how you can talk to your children about financial literacy, and it is just critical. We don't want to see more families going into foreclosure, going in, just winding in over their head for things that are preventable. Some things there's nothing you can do about, and they're in circumstances through no fault of their own. There's only so far savings can take you if you've lost your job.
Right.
But at the same time, if you don't have that savings, you're in trouble a lot faster.
Well, and the great thing too, there is the take-home part of the program, what really allows the students to go home and discuss it. There's some homework assignments in there that they can go home and talk to their parents about, particularly on savings. So the great thing is it opens up that dialogue at home for students. And out of that, we've had so many students, I know since my class has been doing this over the years, we've had so many students then be so excited about wanting to go to Bank Atlantic and opening up a savings account and really using their money from their chores. So again, it's just really that basic, that beginning step that really encourages them, encourages their parents maybe that maybe need a little extra encouragement, and to go out and actually start a savings account or just talk about what's going on in their home when it comes to their finances. And as Molly was saying, you know, she has a savings account, so it gives her the opportunity to use some of the vocabulary that they learn about in the book, which is of course what a teacher would love for them to do, is take what they learn in this classroom and bring it home.
Exactly.
I just think it's amazing as a third grader, because I took a class on check writing in high school, in a business class. That's when I first was exposed to writing a check, and that was like a year before college.
Yeah.
So it's a great program for my daughter.
Terrific. I suspect that there are probably many people watching now who are saying, I want this in my school, I want this in my school. So how do they go about that? What should they do if they're sitting home and say, how do I get this?
We have information on our website.
So go to the
about
Bank
the-
Atlantic website.
Right,
We'll
and
put it
there's
up.
a community section, and you can get the information from there, and then from there it leads you to my office, which I'm the one who usually coordinates the schools, the introduction from the schools to the facilitators at the bank, because the bank, the facilitators are our employees. They're the only ones that teach the program. So they go through a training, and we do trainings throughout the summer, for the fall, and then if we need it again, we go back in the spring and we get some new, because as we keep adding more employees, or we have more people more interested, we do the trainings throughout the year.
So could they also contact their school, or should they contact their principal and exert some
Either
pressure
way,
that way?
right, and then sometimes the principal contacts us, or believe it or not, I hear it a lot through mothers or parents going to the bank, and they'll hear about the Kid Power program, because we do have an account that reflects the Kid Power program for kids, that they can open an account. So they'll say, you know, we have a financial literacy program that goes to the school, and I get a lot of calls from the parents. I want my child to have this. How do they
That's
go to my
great.
school?
What a perfect place to end. This time has flown by. And I'd like to thank Leo Hinckley and Lois Marino of Bank Atlantic, Daniel Fiore, Laura Berger Marina, and Molly of Lakeside Elementary for helping us talk about sound financial practices and Kid Power as a way of teaching lessons of financial responsibility to children at an early age. I have been your host, Cindy Arenberg Seltzer, President and CEO of the Children's Services Council of Broward County. For copies of this program or any other episode of Future First, please call the Children's Services Council at 954-377-1000 or visit www.cscbroward.org. And remember to join us next time on Future First, focus on Broward's children.